This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, Jody. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Man, until I got on this Zoom, I didn't realize how badly I need to go out and get a haircut. So,
Oh, yeah. You got a few crazy hairs there going.
Yeah, they're flying everywhere. It's been a little while. It's time. So
yeah, it's hard to get that stuff done with all, like, I got my hair cut a while ago, but then they weren't doing beard trims again. So I'm like, oh, dang it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on and where you can go for what.
Yeah, the place I go, you have to make reservations, make an appointment. And
Yep.
I've been trying to, every time that I'm like, oh, I need to go get my haircut, it's always this last minute thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that doesn't fly with the place.
I'm always like that. I'm like, oh God, I got to get my haircut. I go and they're like, no, not until 2 weeks from now. I'm like, God dang it.
Of course. Oh, man. So this week we have a mixed bag of things to talk about, right?
Yes. It's always kind of a mixed bag, but definitely not a one topic show today.
Right.
For sure.
Well, what you are bringing in is the most important. It feels like that's maybe where we should start.
Sure. Well, so we all know we're dealing with the COVID and whatever Omicron we're on now. And the new recommendations from the CDC and WHO is to wear those N95 masks or KN95. So of course I'm trying to figure that out, just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been wearing just like the cloth masks, like since the beginning, like the DXL masks, when they've been working well for me. But I did actually get COVID about a month ago. I don't know if I even ever shared that. I had pretty mild symptoms. So, I was vaccinated and all that jazz. So I was just like mild fever and stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad. But so I'm trying to figure out these N95 masks. So I go online, try to do some research, and a friend of mine had a couple of them. So I grabbed a couple from him because I'm like, I have a big face and I struggled with some of the paper masks because I have like big head, big ears, all that jazz. And it just wasn't quite fitting on my face quite correctly, as we all have been struggling with beards and all that jazz. My beard's gotten kind of crazy the last few months. So I was trying to find if they had like large XL masks for the KN95. Can't find any of that. But then I'm finding all this stuff where there's so many like actually not properly rated N95 masks, because there's like all this testing that they do on the masks. And I'm like, I've just been kind of frustrated and scared to even buy any, because I'm like, well, what if these aren't even actually the things that I need? So I still haven't bought any. I think I'm going to go try to get them through, like, because my friend got them through Home Depot. They were selling them. So I'm thinking if I get them through like a big store, they'll have done the research, I'm hoping. But there are some resources. You can go on the CDC website and see which companies are actually certified to be doing the KN or the N95 masks. So the N95 and KN95 masks are the same masks. The N95 are made in the USA. The KN95 are made in China, but they go through the same rigorous testing. They're the same mask. They just have different ratings like that. So that's what the difference is there. That took me a while to figure that part out too. So
sure.
So I think I'm going to go probably like through Home Depot or something like that, some reputable place, because I don't want to go just to Amazon and just order, because you start reading the reviews and they're like, they have a horrible smell and the little ear loops busted off after I was trying to put it on, and just like, oh my God, I can't believe people are trying to, scam people on masks now.
Right. You give any market enough time and that's going to happen, apparently.
Well, I know.
So,
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's just kind of sad.
It is. Yeah. Well, it's definitely something that's it's difficult to find. It's hard to find masks, especially when you have a big head, and trimming down your beard certainly helps.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my next move, is really trim it down. It's not going away, but it's going to have to get trimmed down quite a bit so I can, because it was like hitting my beard and riding up my nose too much. And then with glasses, it's like so many things going on in your face. And you're like, Jesus, come on.
Yeah. I ended up having to, I cut off a lot of the length of my beard. Now I push it up into the mask.
Yep.
And then put the mask on. And
I've done that. Yeah. Like
generally
fold it in, push it in from the sides. You're like, come on, get in there.
Yeah, because you look like a crazy person when you've got the mask on and your beard is everywhere around it. It's I don't even know. That's not the look I'm going for. So
yeah, and it puts a weird dent in your beard too. That I can't. I keep trying to brush it out. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. So this may be the age of shorter beards for a little while.
Yeah, I've seen the big beard masks, but I don't feel like those really are quite up to standard where they need to be.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like I'm wearing just a big handkerchief on my face.
I know we need to redo the Chubster article about face masks, because it came out at the beginning of the pandemic when, we were looking at cloth masks. We were open to all these different things, and it just needs to be updated, and need a little more research. Back
when we thought it wasn't going to last very long.
Right. Yet here we are years later.
I still remember we were going to do some masks, and I was like, well, by the time we get them designed and get them, it's going to be over.
Right.
If I could only rewind a couple of years and do the masks, we're going to need them.
Totally. I would love to open my beer now.
Okay. Yeah. What do you got?
So last week we did dry January. Wasn't that last week? Maybe the week before?
Something. Yep.
2 weeks, something like that. We covered dry January. The beer that I had on that episode was not a non-alcoholic beer, but this week I'm making up for it with
oh my God,
Athletic Brewing's Run Wild.
I have the same one.
Oh, that's amazing. That never happens.
No,
like we haven't had.
As soon as you started talking, I'm like, no, he's gonna have it.
We haven't had the same beer in so long, since we haven't been able to do this in the same room.
Oh, that's funny.
I love it. So, well, then we might as well.
We're gonna try this one at the same time. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's the Athletic Brewing Co. Run Wild
IPA, right?
Sorry, I was like non-alcoholic IPA.
Have you had this one before?
I have not had this one. I tried the hazy IPA the other day.
Okay. All right.
And I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yes.
So yeah, they had this at the New Seasons Market down by my house. So
I've got to say that I'm a big fan of this beer. I really like this one because it definitely, we talked about this in a couple episodes ago, that a lot of these non-alcoholic beers, they taste kind of pasty or watery or not like a beer, like they're missing that thing. And I would say that these are good. This is the closest to a legit like IPA that I've had. And I don't feel like I'm missing anything when I drink this.
Not at all. And they even said that we are pioneering a craft brew revolution. We believe you shouldn't have to sacrifice your ability to be at your best to enjoy great beers. So we created our innovative lineup of refreshing non-alcoholic craft brews.
Yeah. So this is I believe this is their flagship beer. I think this is the one that they sell the most of.
Okay.
And it is, it's glorious. And I highly recommend it. And I have a feeling that we will see more non-alcoholic beers show up on future episodes, because man, if they're this good, it's absolutely.
And then I can keep going on with my day. Like
there is that. Yes.
I'll be like, oh, I had a beer at noon and now I'm kind of sleepy. Right. I don't want to do anything.
Exactly. Since we do these so early, it's like you got to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Well,
that's funny. That's really funny that we have the same beer.
Yes. So that's good. So that will be on our Untapped list. Definitely check that out. Untapped.com. The Heavy Conversation beer list. It's there, and you can see all the beers that we drink, alcoholic and non. And you can pick the ones you like, try them, and skip the ones that you don't. And of course, look at our ratings and the things we have to say about our beers. And you'll be better for it.
I'm surprised it only has a 3.4 on Untapped. And I'm like, I really like this.
I think my thought on that is that a lot of the people who are rating beers and doing that kind of thing are people who are, they're maybe a little more like beer purists. They want actual beer.
You've checked in a couple times with this one already.
I have, because this one is awesome. Like I said, I had this a few months ago for the first time when I had lunch with a friend, and it was phenomenal. And I was super impressed with what they'd done. And I think this is a segment that we're going to see continue to grow in beer, because there are people who want this, people who like the taste, but don't want the buzz or whatever, so they've got a bunch of different kinds.
4.75 or 5.
For me, I feel like
I would drink this a lot.
Totally. Yeah. And it's pretty easy to get, at least for us here in Portland. I'm sure
they're all over the place.
Yeah. And I think they're based in Colorado. No, they're based in San Diego, very close to Colorado.
Wherever.
Yeah. The next state over.
Light hoppy.
Yeah. So
citrusy.
So give it a try. And they have a lot of different kinds. So if the IPA kind of thing isn't your bag, they have all kinds of things. I think they do have like a Pilsner. I think there's a darker beer. They've got a bunch. So check them out and get your favorite, or try them all.
Collect them all.
That's right. So yes.
Sorry, I'm just adding it to the list.
While you're doing that, I'll kind of jump into this next thing that I wanted to bring in, which is one of the many things that is hard to find if you're a big and tall person. If you're looking for extended size clothing, is basically secondhand, vintage clothing. And a company you may have heard of, Levi's, has decided to take matters into their own hands with Levi's Secondhand.
Ooh.
Yes. And so it is basically denim from past seasons that's broken in, beat up, people have worn and have decided to trade it in. So this is one of those things where you can take your old Levi's, make an appointment to drop them off at participating stores. You'll receive a gift card toward a future purchase. Then they take your stuff, whether it's jeans, denim shorts, trucker jackets. They'll take those things, professionally clean, sort, and list them on secondhand.levi.com. And it's a way to kind of be more sustainable. It's keeping the garments in use and out of landfills. And so you're
nice.
You're shopping more responsibly, and you've got some new options. And the cool thing about this is that they do have bigger sizes. I'm looking at their website right now. They go to size 58 waist. So you're able to look at those and kind of see what they've got. And I'm seeing like the size 58, and this stuff changes out quick because the prices are less. Because it's secondhand, so they don't cost as much. So that's another bonus. But like for the size 58 right now, I'm seeing the Levi's 559s and the Levi's 550, both for $42. Now, if I'm looking at, let's say, a size 46, there's some shorts, there's 501s, 505s. They got the 559, 560.
I'm definitely going to be grabbing some of these.
Yes. So, and I mean, they start at, it looks like $36.
Yeah, it was like $36 for like, yeah.
Right. So there's a lot here to choose from, and it's a really cool way to get legit jeans that are going to last, that have already been broken in. And I love that idea. I love the idea of nice. Broken in jeans that'll work. And I actually happen to be in the market for some new black jeans, as there was a blowout of a pair that I had for many years that finally they just gave up. And so I feel like it's time for some new ones. So, at least new to me. So definitely check this out. I think that, they do men's and women's. They have different collections. So they do like vintage. Let's take a look at vintage and see what they've got.
Well, it says there's one here in Portland, but I don't know where Levi Portland is.
Yeah,
I'm like, where is it?
I'm not sure. Let's see, what is this? So Levi's 540 jeans. They've got they've got these vintage you know, it's very, very hard to find vintage clothing
Oh yeah.
in extended sizes. Like that's something that we get a lot of questions about at Chubster. People looking for that kind of stuff. And I mean, it's not easy. It's definitely not. And so some of the vintage stuff is obviously going to be more expensive. So these vintage 540s
But
are
still, this is cheap.
yeah, it's a size 52 and it's 50. I see a 5230, I see a 5232, and it's $118 for these, but
They
still
have some bell bottoms.
yes. So, you know, if you're looking for things like that, then this is definitely worth your time. I was super impressed to find this and just you know, understanding that this is a segment that is missing in Big and Tall, and the fact that Levi's is doing it and they're offering these extended sizes is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time on this trying to. Okay. Stop.
Yes, I know. It pulls you in. You just start.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, you start going through and going, okay, I need those.
Yeah, there's a
those.
bunch of places that you can make an appointment. Arizona, there's a bunch in California, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey,
Right.
New York. Yeah.
Look at their website, find the place that's closest to you. If you want to take some in, you can drop off your jeans and kind of go from there, you know? So that's that's a cool option that you probably didn't know about. So enjoy.
Nice. I like that. Trade-in credit depends on age, condition, and original retail price of your pieces. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
You
if you bring in some that are just like totally
Yeah,
shredded,
they're not gonna. Yeah.
right? You know, be realistic about what you're bringing in. And I mean, I don't know what kind of work
I got a lot
they
of
do.
jeans. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
So
got a lot of Levi's I could bring in that I don't fit into anymore.
you know, now that I think about it, so do I.
I'm like, I always keep my jeans because I mean, I love denim. So,
oh yeah,
and I had it. Well, I guess some of them weren't Levi's that I got rid of, but a few months ago, or I guess
Sure.
a year ago when I moved.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, so there we go. There's your clothing tip.
Another resource for getting some big denim,
Yep.
some plus size denim. I love it.
Yes. So HBO has a new series.
You're gonna hook me on another series?
Yes, and it's
Okay.
called Somebody Somewhere. And it is, so NBC News has this article that that really like captures the essence of what it is. It says it's billed as a coming of middle age story. Somebody Somewhere is chock full of existential dread, nostalgia, and comic relief. And so it stars Bridget Everett, who has is a comedian, an actor, a singer. She does so many things. She's 49 years old. She is in this show, and it's she plays Sam, which is kind of a fictionalized version of herself living in this small town in Kansas. It's her hometown, and she has gone back to she went back home to take care of her sister who was sick and ended up dying. And she's still in this town, and it's just like this. I've only seen one episode. There's only, as of the time that we are recording this, there's only one episode. There's probably two as you're listening to this, but I've only seen the first one. And she's just kind of like, she's in this town where she doesn't quite fit in, and she's trying to kind of find her place and figure out, you know, what works for her. And it's really, it's funny, it's dramatic, it's kind of everything that you want. And the cool thing about this is that she's the star of the show, and it's not treated as this like, she's a plus size person. It's not treated as this like funny fat person kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like, it's a real story. It's an HBO level series about her, you know, going through all of this, living in this town. And it's super interesting. If you haven't seen the trailer, you should go watch the trailer so you can get kind of the vibe.
I've definitely seen the trailer, and I was like, ooh, that looks like it might be good. A little quirky, a little weird, but yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. One of the so she works this place that I think it's like I don't know if it's like telemarketing or something. All of this really resonated with me living in a small town in the Midwest for
Yeah.
many years, and then watching this, it's like they got it so right. It's just like it feels just like what it was to live in that kind of town, and uh, she's working at this place, and like her boss or whatever is somebody she went to high school with that she didn't quite remember initially. um they become friends, and he invites her to church, and she's kind of like, ugh,
Right.
and so she sort of begrudgingly goes, and realizes when they get to church that it's not a church service. It is basically these people who also feel like outsiders in this town have, like, they come together at this church on like one night a week to sing, to perform, to kind of be themselves in ways that they can't in this small town. And it's just really compelling, and I'm telling you, it totally reminds me of life in small town Midwest, and it hit a lot of the notes within that really resonate. So I
I
highly
like that.
recommend it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to kind of be able to identify in with different shows like that. I like that. I've been
Absolutely.
watching a little bit too much TV. I like downloaded the Paramount Plus app onto whatever and getting sucked into more shows. And
Man, Paramount Plus is like it sneaks up on you. You would not expect it to have as much.
yeah, it has a lot
That
of good stuff.
there's so much to watch. Yeah, they've done a pretty good job of kind of stepping in, like with their original series, kind of being like, we can do shows with like sex and cursing too.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean, I've been watching Star Trek Discovery like every day, I think.
Which
I'll
is
watch an
awesome.
episode every night. Yeah, it's
Yes.
so good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that they have a couple gay characters in it. It's fun. I like it. It's very dramatic and
They do a really good job, I thought, in Discovery of like modernizing the idea of what Starfleet
Mhm,
is, like what it's
mhm.
supposed to be. And I feel like, I don't know how far along you are.
I'm still in the I think I'm still in the first season.
Okay,
There's a lot
so
of episodes. I was like,
yes.
Jesus.
Yes. So by the time you get to the latest season, which I think just ended,
Yeah.
they take some really huge swings that work out, that really connect, where they talk about community and identity in some really interesting ways that just like I said, they modernize the idea of what Starfleet's like core is
Hmm.
about.
Hmm.
And I really loved it. I think it is exactly what Star Trek needs to be
Yeah.
today to
Yeah.
work.
Well, yeah, and I mean, they're all about all the different races and cultures, bringing them together and living in harmony, so like
Right.
there's
Genders and
got to be, yeah,
identities.
gender identity, sexuality,
Mm. All
race,
of it.
color, all that, like
There's
it's
even
perfect.
something,
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it for you because you
La
haven't,
la la la.
yes.
I'll take off my headphones.
But they haven't, there's even they even take a step in an interesting direction, um, with regards to technology and
Mm,
identity, that I think is very interesting. Once you get there, it'll make more sense. But
okay.
I'll just leave it at that and say, it's really interesting, the things. There's a lot of discussion that could be had around what they're doing in that show, and
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
really blew me away. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I mean, I was always a big fan of Star Trek anyways, but I like how it is so much more modern now.
Have you, speaking of space shows, have you been watching the Book of Boba Fett? The
I did watch and I didn't like it.
so
I'm struggling.
I I feel the same way. Like, there are things that I like about the show, but
It's not quite
it's
there yet.
no, and it's not like the Mandalorian, which
Not
I
at
feel
all.
like hit it out of the park, man. It would
Yeah.
just, but I feel like the Book of Boba Fett isn't quite. I don't know. There's just something. Yeah, it's
Well,
not
there's
there.
too much. I mean, I think I've watched all of the Star Wars things, but I'm still like, wait, what is happening? Who is this person? Why is he in that tank of water? What is going on? I'm like,
Well,
there's two. I'm like, I feel like I have to go back and rewatch everything to be able to be like, oh, that's right. And I'm like, are they gonna explain this a little bit later on?
yes. So they do go through and explain a lot of it. And so a lot of those things that you have questions about, and a lot of the throwbacks, especially I think for people who are probably like hardcore Star Wars fans, they're getting a lot more out of this than maybe you or I. There's a lot of really in-depth kind of stuff there, but I don't know. There's just something about it that doesn't grab me quite the same way as The Mandalorian. So
yeah, even the music, I felt like The Mandalorian was amazing. And then the theme song I loved, on Mandalorian, right. But this one I was just like, meh.
Yeah, but let me say that I will continue to watch every single episode.
I will probably keep watching it because I'm like, well, is it gonna explain what's going on?
Yeah,
because after the first one, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this, but I've learned like, okay, sometimes the first one,
right,
they're just laying the groundwork. They're trying to get you.
The second episode is substantially better. It's much better. It was my favorite of the 4 that I've seen. It was absolutely my favorite. So the latest one that came out last week, as you're listening to this, last week, was, I didn't really love. Like it's really focused on backstory, so that may answer even more of your questions. Okay. It definitely will answer more of your questions, but I don't know. I'm curious to see where they're going to head with this. It feels like such a slow burn with this show that they have to be thinking about a Book of Boba Fett season 2. Like it can't, because I think I think there's only like 6 or 8 episodes or 7, something like that. And so when they get through those episodes, it doesn't feel like at this point that they're going to have achieved much. Like he's going through this. It is going
really slow. And I'm like,
he's going through this town. He's building up he's taking over Jabba the Hutt's syndicate. He's building this whole thing up and trying to make it work on his terms, but it's moving very slowly. And so if they're doing this in less than 10 or 13 episodes, it's like, what are they going to do? And it feels like they're going to have to do another season. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong and they'll like blow it away
all of a sudden, just like boop and jump ahead. And
so we'll see. I've often been wrong about these things.
never.
So we'll see.
So much good stuff. There's so much good stuff.
There is, and it's a good time to focus on the good stuff. So, so that's all I've got.
Yeah, I appreciate you hopping on today.
Yeah, you too. This is it's always good to kind of catch up and look back at our week and complain about Star Wars.
All about Star Trek right now.
Yep. So, all right.
Well, thanks everybody. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Tune in.
Yep.
Follow us on social media. Make sure you go hit the like button.
Yes.
All right. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.